welcome to the first episode of They Make Thangs, a podcast where I talk to my favorite creatives about the things they make and how and why they make them. My name is Josh Ryan. I am a designer and illustrator and maker of things here in Houston, Texas. And my guests are none other than Connor Clifton and Ned Gale, comedians, artists, illustrators, content creators. What would you guys say that you do?
I like content creator.
Content creator.
It's a good. That phrase is like fairly new, I feel like.
Yeah.
And when
a hell of a buzzword.
it really when it kind of like came out or like came into the public consciousness at school, you had to like kind of market yourself. I went to film school, and everyone had to like figure out like what am I going to put on my business card? Like, I like writing stuff. I like doing all this stuff. And so, like, the first kid to write content creator, every kid like lost their freaking mind. Like, this is so easy.
It's like the invention of the wheel.
Yeah.
Like, the opening thing in 2001. Everyone's jumping around the
content creator. But yes, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah, I just think that it's the most accurate and easy way to describe what you do or what I do.
Yeah.
Because I kind of do a lot of things. I don't know.
It's good because it gets the conversation is more about like the topics of what you're creating content around, and less about like the methods of production, I think.
Yeah. No, I would say content creator as just like a BS thing of like that's what I do. But like if I were to get into it, I'd be like, oh, I'm a video editor and a humorist.
Yeah,
an improviser. I'm a lampooner.
I think content creator is what I am about to put on my LinkedIn after the show. I've been freelancer for too long. Freelancer was what
I'd consider
my go-to.
You a producer.
A producer?
Yeah, I think that's a title that you could wear.
Content producer. Yeah. Okay.
A creator.
I'm
producer.
a content reducer.
I produce
I've actively thrown away zines.
Yeah. Okay. Producer. I'll take it.
So you said you went to film school. Is that kind of where you got sank your teeth into being a creative, or what was kind of the genesis of Ned the humorist?
I guess. Yeah. Ned the humor. I like that. No. I was always making videos as a kid. Like, the second I got my parents' video camera, that was like, I had a series of videos called Nerdy the Nerd Boy with one of my friends, Mitch, when I was in like second grade or third grade. And ever since that, I would just like, anytime I had a group of friends, it's like, let's make some videos, blah, 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 stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then just going to film school made it like, I could officially tell people, I was like, no, I'm the film guy.
I'm the filmmaker.
Yeah. I could officially wear these glasses once I went to film school.
Yeah. Connor, what about your kind of creative origin story?
So I think a big part of what I just kind of like making stuff that I found funny.
Yep.
I never really wanted to impress anybody. It was just, hey, if this is good enough for me, it's good enough for the world, and did not get a good return on that. So after just wandering through college miserably, smoking pot and doing open mics at coffee shops that expected poetry, not dumb stand-up, I decided to kind of make some changes and take advantage of the fact that one thing that I think that I'm good at is setting an event on Google Calendars and just like making sure people know like, hey, a meeting is being held.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this on my own show before, but I started my college radio station at U of H, and I really all I did was get people in the room. Like, I mean, I'm good at getting people in a room.
Yeah.
And so through that, I've just constantly been doing that. I mean, different group projects I've worked on, I just get people together, people that I like, people that I trust, and together we make something really fun.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the big things I've found is that growing up, I had like a similar experience of like, I just wanted to make stuff that I enjoyed and didn't get a great return on that, and thought like, oh, it's just that I'm not good at this, when really it was like I hadn't found the other people who have enjoyed this stuff.
Yeah, that's another big part of it. So with the radio station, that was more of I saw a need, and I knew that I could fill it. and I took care of that. And like there were so many different DJs. There was a staff of 50 people, and I hated all of their music tastes, and they hated mine.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I thought like, oh, I should do this comedically, and I found people such as Ned that like I shared a lot of humor with interests with.
Yep.
I was able to make something really fun that I'm proud of.
Yeah. Is that kind of how you two started working together or met each other, or?
No, and while you were talking about this, Ned, I thought about, we talked on our show about the first time you met me.
Yeah.
And you saw me perform.
Yeah.
The first time I saw any content of yours was at Zine Fest when I interviewed you.
Oh, yeah.
And
You didn't see my metal band play at Fat Fest?
No, I kind of bolted as soon as Yeah, I performed at a comedy festival that Ned and his friends threw in Clear Lake, and I had a lot of fun doing it. Ned approached me after the show. So did all those girls. Everybody thought I was really cool and hot. And they, I just like exchanged email addresses with Ned. And we've talked about this before. We've gone back to look at those old emails, and it's just stuff like, I like Tim and Eric and Venture Brothers. What do you like? And we're just, we've always just been silly goobers. I don't know. What's going on?
A lot of audio issues.
Oh,
Yeah, just doing some troubleshooting. This is my creative outlet.
Well, it's the first episode of this
consistently
podcast,
tried to fix.
so it's...
yeah. This is an episode like 89 of our.
Yeah, this is a brand new...
This is episode 1 of this show.
Yeah. You need a better engineer.
Yeah, this one's a joke.
So you talked about kind of being creative, growing up. Is there any kind of like people that you looked up to creatively, or like times when you like saw some things, like some sort of like media, and was like, oh, that's it, that's what I want to be like that?
David Letterman and Conan O'Brien.
Okay.
Like, I've thought about this over and over, and it was watching those two, that late night weird.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was the best. That's what I thought was the funniest and what I wanted to be like. And of course, I had older brothers.
Yeah.
So a family unit kind of forms their own sense of humor collectively.
Yeah.
And my brother Nathan, who I shared a room with him for like 10 years. We speak our own language. And I there are people who can't stand him, but I think he's one of the funniest people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Do you have a list of people who can't stand it? No, I was kidding.
Ned, he gets very jealous.
I like your brother.
Yeah.
What about you, Ned? Any?
Can you repeat the question?
Like
again?
any kind of?
Sorry.
So like growing up, were there any kind of like creative idols, or like, or media, or like a cartoon or something?
I watched a ton of Nickelodeon as a kid.
Uh-huh.
A ton of Nickelodeon, and then I had a VHS that had like every episode of Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Oh yeah.
Growing up, and the older I get, the more I think about how much that is just like seeped into my brain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Kablam was like my favorite show as a
Kablam.
kid. Just the jumping around so many different styles. Like I just loved any animated things, or any like Rugrats or All Real Monsters. Or
Yeah.
like Klasky Shupo or whatever.
We both were really into Space Ghost.
Yeah,
Coast to Coast.
Space Ghost Coast to Coast is that and Aquabats is where Connor and I
yeah.
immediately saw eye to eye. And that was like when I found Aquabats, my sister showed me that when I was in like 6th grade. It ruined my social life. It like really boosted my creative life up.
Yeah.
One of the things, when Ned and I have taken a lot of road trips before, and no matter what, on our road trip back, that's when we start going down nostalgia lane, talking about like all the we like so much of the same stuff. Like our sense of humor is almost spot on. There's never, I can't think of one big thing where we're just like, oh, I didn't think that was funny at all. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what it's like. I kind of like all those. Yeah, this Klasky Scupo and like the Pee Wee Herman. There's always in Space Ghost. It's like these shows where it felt odd. Like it felt like
it shouldn't have been correct. Yeah, like
Yeah.
it shouldn't. It's just barely over the line where like you could tell. Now getting older, it's like they probably like had to really sneak this in with some flowery language
And it just
to like
doesn't-
make it work.
it doesn't feel super polished. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't like it's not supposed to feel like a smooth like arc of like the episode. There's just like these weird moments of like dead air or just like things that aren't supposed to like bright interjections into
Yeah.
the format.
Which now you can tell is just like a room of creatives like trying to fill time.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
maybe the moon could talk. Like,
That's what there's like there's like the Wayne White, the artist that did all like
incredible
the
guy,
backgrounds
yeah.
for Pee-wee's. There's like a documentary on him, and it's just like it's just like we were just a bunch of crazy 20-year-old people that somebody gave a TV show to. And
Yeah.
they had to, like, fill time every week.
I love them talking about like the conditions they worked under of just like a room as small as like this radio station is where they're building all these puppets, and they finally give them a big room. They're like, "What? We can do it in here?
Yeah, what do we do with all
didn't
this
know any
space?"
better." Yeah.
That's one of the great things is that I feel like us growing up of having like having to do stuff on like VHS and do stuff very manually. that,
Yeah.
like
Oh,
the
God.
constraints like forced you to.
Oh yeah, constraints are the. I mean, like I just sat here fiddling with the dumbest like audio setup possible. I think as you get older and work with like with DV cameras, like you slowly learn how to work within those constraints, and you just get better and better at that kind of problem solving. Like
Yeah.
I think every Effin Rager show we do, we try to outdo ourselves technically.
Yeah.
And it comes to the point of like, let's tape 2 cameras together to make 3D. And like, it takes a lot of troubleshooting, but it'll work eventually. Like,
I think we also maintain a little bit of that restraint in our digital stuff as well, because we
Yeah.
try to do like 2 takes. That's it.
yeah.
And that's that's one more take than I would allow myself on a VHS camera.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to edit. We got to make this work.
Yeah. It's like I have to sit there with it hooked up to my computer as it like plays and records in.
Yeah.
If I want to do.
I have to rewind if we're going to do this again.
Yeah.
Wow, I just had to cross my fingers. I couldn't even connect it to a computer. I had no idea what I was doing.
Cool. So, I guess what was kind of the first thing that you two started working on together?
Me and Ned?
Yeah.
So I met Connor at this music festival that one of my friends threw, and like 6 years later we re-meet at Zine Fest.
Yep.
And I think from there we talked again, because it was like we had emailed a little bit of just like, yeah, I like this comedy. So we exchanged numbers at Zine Fest. And then I hit him up to go to a comedy show. I was like, hey, me and a couple friends are going to the Improv. So Connor and I and some other people went to the Improv and watched Dale Cheeseman and Brian Ziello absolutely bomb in front of a bunch of normies. and like Connor and I were like, ah! Like howling, laughing at every joke. And it was either on the way there or on the way back. I was like, hey, so what are you working on? Like, I had been doing some improv and stuff at Station Theater and a few things here and there, but mainly just the improv deal. And Connor's like, oh, I'm actually working on a comedy talk show. And I remember I was driving. I immediately turned around. I was like, well, let me know if you need any characters or anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, actually, yeah.
Yeah. And you were the first character on the show.
Yeah.
So Good Evening with Connor and Billy.
Yeah.
My radio show at college was called Good Evening, and it was another thing of like, well, I think I'm funny. Nobody listens to my show. My guests have a miserable time. So I started working with other people, and Billy and I got an opportunity to put on a talk show, and we decided to go with Good Evening with Connor and Billy, and we needed a name for the group, and we just came up. We used Micro Satan, which was a joke Billy and I came up with a long, long time ago, and we booked.
Wait, you should explain what microsatan means. Give that origin story.
All right.
I think it's so funny.
Okay, so Billy and I grew up together. Billy Trim, friend of our show, and Billy and I used to just like get stoned and drive around Cyprus. I'll say it, whatever. And it adds to why this happened.
Yeah.
So we're seniors in high school. We stop at a Kroger, and this was back when like evangelical Christianity had a big boon during the Bush years.
Yeah.
And this was still when you could go to a Kroger and see all those T-shirts that had like modified current ads with religious messages.
You know, like
So-
the Reese's logo, but it says Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or like Lord of the Rings, but it says Lord of all kings or something like
Or
that.
the one that I saw that's totally real that has a bass guitar. It says, bass, your life on God. Which is like, did you just run out of ideas? Like, couldn't connect to the rock crowd.
So the one we saw was it was those old iPod commercials where people were dancing and they were black silhouette, and it said "I God," and we were like, What's the alternative? Micro Satan. And then we ran to get like some soda or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, we there's the origin of Micro Satan officially on the record, the name at least. So who did we have? We had a cartoonist and we had 2 improvisers, Oja Lopez, who did a great job, and then Ned, and you played.
I did a male, like one of those pickup artist guys, like Mystery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was Anomaly, and I went by Anom. Yeah, it was fun.
I think that's where I first saw you guys together, was at a good evening.
Mhm.
I want to say, I think it might have been like a house party.
Oh, was it a house party?
It was like shortly. You guys did that fundraiser, and it was like shortly. It was like shortly after that. It was like the first show after that fundraiser you guys did on like.
Might have been my birthday party. Was it?
I think it was.
The house next to NRG.
Yeah, and there was like a
Man,
inflatable pool in the
man, I
background.
miss that house so much. That was such a good house for house shows.
Yeah, the Cherry Hill House.
Yeah.
Legendary. I remember that. We had it was you and Nick put a show on. Should we talk about how Micro Satan worked, the structure of it?
Yeah, let's talk
Yeah.
about dig into.
So when so I did that show, and then you guys were kind of building like the group of Micro Satan. I think I joined in more like around the 3rd show.
We had the first round of people who joined in were John Wayne Caminale, Grant Carr, and Clint Cooper.
Mhm.
All fantastic, and they all brought something different to it.
Yeah.
Then we decided we needed a demolitions expert, right? So we got Ned Galen because he would blow it up.
I'd
And-
always bomb.
And then through that, we had Nick and Josh and Ruth and Antoine and Austin and all these different people join. And the way it worked was very democratic in that, like, hey, if you have an idea for a show, you put one on. And you and Nick put on this house show.
Yeah, well, no. Originally, we were supposed to do neck and neck with Nick and Ned,
Yeah.
but the venue got canceled last second.
Oh, yeah,
so
I
we're
remember
like,
that. I remember that.
crud, we don't know what to do. So we ended. I was like, I was going to have a birthday party at my house.
Yeah.
Let's just open the doors like 3 hours early and do like a show.
Yeah.
So it was. I mean, that was just a house show where we're like, we had 2 days to prepare it. So it was like, anyone who has a bit, come do it again.
Yeah.
So it was very much a variety show rather than. I think a lot of the Micro Satan shows it had more of a through line to them.
Yeah, there's kind of like
Yeah.
an overarching plot, and the characters usually. It reminds me a lot of like a Doomsday show where it's like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
sometimes the
Oh.
characters don't have something to do with the plot, but like plot happens around them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or between them.
Yeah, the talk show for Good Evening was very much like there'd be either stuff going on in the background, and then it's like, what are Connor and Billy like doing through this whole thing,
Yeah.
or like there's something crazy happening there. I don't know. It became more story based as it went on.
I feel like I went to a Good Evening at PJ's maybe.
Maybe Midtown Bar and Grill.
Oh yeah, Midtown.
Yeah,
We did a couple there.
Yeah,
We did one. We did our absolute best there. The back to school.
Yeah, back to school.
Oh,
was
Back to
my
School,
favorite one.
Yeah, that was as far as I'm concerned. That one was airtight. And the tour was also.
I like
pretty
the tour
good.
show
Yeah.
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun.
So it's kind of so as the collective worked, it was just kind of like people being creative, and then you're like, oh, I'm putting together a show. You just kind of draw on the other people within the group, or
So everybody had their own sense of humor and their own flavor. Like, if you've listened to our show, or if you're just around here in Houston, you know that Nick Merriweather and John Wayne Caminale have the most completely different sense
Two
of
different
humor.
spices, but
Yeah.
oh so nice.
Yeah. And we all brought this weird thing that made something very unique and special. And you could tell, like, who wrote what bit sometimes. And we all, I don't know, it was just friends. And then
Yeah,
you'd see
I would
someone
also
perform.
say it was a lot of people who were just like kind of tired of what they were doing in the comedy scene.
Yeah.
They were looking for an alternative, like alt comedy. They were looking for an alternative to, like, I don't want to just do improv. I don't want to just do sketch. I don't want to just do stand up. Like Micro Satan became that outlet where it's like, this is where I can dress up as a vampire and do like cartwheels and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like find a reason to do these dumb
It's
ideas. Collective is finding people who don't necessarily have the exact same goal, but everyone has this similar like kind of drive, and you're all pushing each other up. Like I learned so much more doing Micro Satan than I did doing my own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you constantly are getting new ideas and watching other people like do their thing.
Is there like a way you guys sussed out like who would kind of come in the group and who would go out of the group, or
We never kicked anyone out of the group.
No, yeah.
We never. No, I think if you got to get to that point, you're not having fun anymore, and it's time to stop.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
like, that's not what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
Some people left, but just like move. Like,
Yeah.
But otherwise, it was a pretty
Yeah.
like organic collective, I would say.
And
yeah.
some people just got too busy.
Yeah.
Or they
Yeah.
wanted to take a break from performing, period.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, doors always open.
yeah,
Like, we made it very clear that if you submit a character, it is yours.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong to anybody but you.
Mhm.
It's your idea. And I think that really helped people feel like, hey, we're really just friends trying to make something.
yeah.
We didn't even have an LLC. We never went legit.
No.
Nah, man, it was just about the comedy.
I mean, we tried at one
All
point.
those-
Yeah, we wanted to be LOL, LLC.
All those LLC comedy collectives.
Yeah, less LLC and more LOL, please.
And that's the end of the show.
But we really, basically, everybody who had joined MicroSatan had been a part of or collaborated in a show. Like, if you came and you performed with us, or
Yep.
you were a guest on a show, and we really liked working with you, we
Yep.
asked you to come back and stick around.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is that kind of part of your kind of creative ethos, was like trying out, like seeing people and thinking like, oh, I think they might have something that could add to the show. How do you kind of like find people that aren't quite in your circle but are like adjacent and bring them in?
Oh, I see. I guess it's like it's one of those things where like when you meet people that you know you're gonna like you could see someone perform and immediately know it's like, oh, I dig their vibe,
Yeah.
and then you talk to them after the show. Everyone in MicroSatan had a very similar like it's just like a freaking weirdo. Like you could tell they're just a ding dong, and we all quickly became friends for it. Like,
And was it kind of a thing where like anybody could kind of pull somebody in, or
All right, so
we would take kind of a group vote.
Yeah.
A
When
group
we
vote,
started getting
yeah.
more and more people. Yeah.
I don't think we had anyone. We never had people like ask to join.
Yeah.
So I don't know, unless I don't remember anyone just asking, like, "Can I join?"
Yeah. I think that happened a few times.
Really,
Yeah.
I just remember people being like, "Can I do a show with you guys?" And I'm like, "All right, let's see
Yeah.
what you got." I don't know.
That's what. Yeah, it kind of felt like there's this overarching group of just like creative people, and then like within that there's like subgroups of like this trio goes
MicroStation
together.
definitely had the cool kids, and it
Yeah.
was me. All right, no,
Sure. Yeah. No.
You guys had Nick and Ned neck and neck.
Yeah, and there was also the Stacks. Was like
The
everybody in the
Stacks,
Stacks
yeah.
was in MicroSatan,
Yeah.
and like John Wayne had his band going on. Like that, I think that's what I liked so much about the group is everyone kind of had their own thing going on as well as the collective. Like I think
Yeah.
that's the sign of a good collective.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's that you can come together as a collective and like do a big thing as a group.
Yeah.
But it's also like, oh, you can do your own individual things. It's not like not everything has to be in service of the group.
yeah. It's,
Yeah.
it's like when you see like a group art show and you could like clearly tell whose piece is what piece, but it all still looks like that group. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And so from that, I guess you've been doing the You Now Have the Floor thing, which
Yeah.
has a similar vibe of like, it's a lot of similar faces, but a lot of like the similar vibe to MicroSatan shows where it's like, oh, that's a person I haven't seen do this kind of comedy before, or do comedy in this sort of setting.
I definitely, with You Now Have the Floor, I've really been pushing to push people into performing.
Yeah.
I just know so many funny people who haven't performed on stage or done anything humorous creatively.
Yeah.
And I think that they should.
Yeah.
And I just asked them, like, hey, do you want to do this? I think you'd be very good at it. And I think so far I've been batting 1,000, baby. Like, everybody who's come onto the show does fantastic.
Yeah, I think that there's so many avenues to do comedy in, but that kind of sketch, like one-off character sketch comedy, is so hard to get people into because you need like you need a show built around it. Otherwise, it's like you can't
Yeah.
just go up to an open mic and do like I'm gonna do a character real quick with no
That you can't.
frame
You
I mean,
definitely
can.
could, and I would have a lot of respect for somebody. Who
Yeah,
did it.
you would have a lot of respect because it never goes well. Like, no one's ever ready for it, and I think that's like one of the things I got so excited about with Micro Satan is Kelly Juneau and I used to do a sketch show called Ned Kelly. It was fun doing a sketch comedy with her, but she also ran a show called Faking It, which was a character stand-up show.
Yeah.
Still is. It goes. It's been going on for every year. That happens around Valentine's Day, and it's just a straight-up character stand-up show. And that was the first time I did that was the first taste of like, oh, this is the comedy I like to do.
That's
like I had
what-
done improv, I
yeah.
had done sketch stuff, but like doing a straight-up character is like, this is what I'm into. So Micro Satan became like a spot where it's like, oh, I can just go up and do a character. We used to do it to where it was like you would do your character bit, and it's like, all right, anyone in the audience got questions? Like, I'm still this character. Come
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
that was like my game.
You
Was
did
just
it
like,
for the 9/11 episode when you were running for president.
Oh, yeah.
That was great.
Questions from there. The animal handler got to do questions from that. It was really fun.
Yeah,
That's
That
what
was
it's like doing Doomsday. It's like I had done stand up before, and I like hated it because I hate telling jokes as myself because it just feels like if you don't like the jokes, you don't like me. Like,
yeah. I
and
feel
then
it.
I did improv, but I hated like the you find like this thing works, and it's like all right, now we can never do that. It's
yeah,
like,
then it gets swiped.
It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
in the moment, and it's so about like who you're with and getting the right group together.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And it's like I just hate having to find that chemistry with everyone and gel. And then it's like when I did Doomsday and I was like a character, it's like, oh, I can. It's like if people don't laugh, it's like they're not laughing at me, they're not laughing at the character. It's not like a judgment
Yeah.
on me, it's a judgment on the character. And then it's like the improv, it's like if I improv something in a show and it gets a reaction, it's like, oh, that's a bit we can write into a later show, or
Which
something.
you're allowed to do with improv.
Oh, yeah.
I always think of improv as a means to get to sketch. Like that's how I think it's an art form that people can do very, very well. But for me personally, I think it's just like kind of an avenue to get to more concrete ideas.
Yeah.
I suppose. Another thing with characters I really enjoy is that you kind of know everything about the character in your head.
Yeah.
As if with yourself, you're an ever expanding. You're like, I don't know. Like,
That's what it's like. A lot of my characters seem to be one part of my personality, like cranked up to 11. Like Marvin Gardens is just like my childlike like wonder and just like me being an awkward doofus.
yeah.
Just like but doing it on purpose, and like if I stumble accidentally, it's like, oh no, I meant to do that on purpose.
yeah.
Dead air.
But that goes back to say, I guess, like my long point is you now have the floor I like because it is an avenue for people to try that, because I think it's doing a character is fun. I think anyone can
Yeah.
do it if they try.
And I-
Like 5 minutes to do a character, anyone can do that. 5 minutes to try a stand-up set, I think anyone can do it, but there's a lot more pressure with that than there is to just like write
Yeah.
a goofy character bit.
Nobody expects you to
Like,
do the
it's a
same
safe
character
room.
set
Yeah.
twice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they expect something a
What are
little
you just
fresh.
gonna put a ham on your hands and go do that across America?
Yeah,
It's like
and make everyone mad that it goes so well.
It's a good bit.
it's like you don't have to even hit hard punchlines with a character. You just have to like execute the character.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's all about committing to the bit.
Yes.
That's what Connor and I like really match on with like comedy in general, I think.
Yeah,
Is-
you have to commit. You can't just break. I broke once and just been like, never mind, I'm not doing this anymore, and it sucks the energy right out of your set.
That's what I went to. That you have the floor show where you're having like tech issues,
Man.
and even then you were like, it made it like because you didn't break, because you stayed in character and were like addressing the tech issues as if you were a mayor running a town with
Yeah,
tech issues. It
so
made it
many people
so
think
much more funny.
so many people think that part was scripted.
Yeah.
Between me and Rahul, but Rahul Rao, who I co-produced You Now Have the Floor with, he and I grew up together, and we were able to just like carry each other through that. And I think Rahul and I do that well. I think Ned, you and I do that well,
Yeah.
where we have each other's back, and we commit to the bit.
Yeah,
And I wanted to say one other thing. You just have to look at Good Evening and You Now Have the Floor to see that what I really love doing is collaborative world building,
yeah,
where I have this idea and like I build this box but I'm open to anyone coming and pushing those walls of the box out in whatever shape you want it to be.
Yeah. It's a sandbox, and anybody can like make whatever they want within the confines of that sandbox.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as everyone remembers it's my sandbox.
It's my sandbox.
I am king of this sandbox.
And I get to smash your castle at the end.
And I'll flatten it when I'm ready.
But it's I love it, man. I love You Now to the Floor. I'm really proud of that show. I'm really proud of everything that everybody's brought to it. And thank you, Ned. Ned has come in clutch. This is something cool. I'm going to say this because we don't have an opportunity to talk about ourselves that often.
Yeah.
There was that You Now to the Floor show when the tech stuff went wrong and I had to wait for updates. Who did I count on to be able to corral all those dunderheads in the green room? Ned.
I'd be like, who doesn't need tech? Get them on stage now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if it
Let me
wasn't,
pop a Ritalin and I'll get out there and start kicking.
if you called me a producer at the top of this show, if I didn't have people like Ned and Nick and Micro Satan and Rahul and people that I could trust in a collaborative environment creatively, I don't think I'd be anything.
Yeah.
I owe all of my success to all of my friends and all the people I collaborate with.
That's what it's like. I always loved making art and like making creative stuff growing up, but I never like in high school it always felt like the art that was celebrated there and the art clubs there were just like about how well you can draw stuff, like not how well you can express something.
Yeah.
And so it just really turned me off, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna do graphic design. Graphic design is the thing I'm gonna do. It's like it's creative, but there's a purpose for it, and it's very clear and analytical. And then it wasn't until like I found my collective at Burning Bones Press that like there was all these people that saw like no, like you can do this creative thing, like you just haven't found your audience, or you haven't found. It's like I think finding your collaborative group or the people that have your back is like it's so.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's
like,
so
I mean,
important.
Connor and I have worked together for so many years because we know how to lean on each other the right ways. Like I think we benefit from each other very much. You can do so much that I cannot do. That
It's vice versa,
makes it
man.
very easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are like pretty quiet or like pretty awkward or seem out of their element and like just around the world. But then you get them in like the right context and they're like on, like not to like call out somebody, but like Nick Merriweather's like a pretty mild mannered guy.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's like you put him in like the right context, you put him on like a state, like you guys, you produce a good show around him, and like the spooky stand-up, like it doesn't matter who's the best character, it's always Nick. Like it's always like
the Duke of Spook himself.
The Duke of Spook. There's like so many great characters on that show, but all anybody like remembers or like ever talks about consistently is like
Nick.
Yeah.
He's great. I mean, he does it every year as well. That helps.
He books that show so he can do that.
He
loves it.
We
so
tried to
dang
get
much.
him to do that character on our show, but so far we've only got him to be Santa Claus, which is a very similar voice.
It's a step away. It's a lot less eye makeup.
So how do you kind of Micro Satan ended? How do you kind of decide when it's time to like dissolve that official? Does it just kind of
That one
shift
was kind
on
of
you?
organic.
Yeah.
It ran its course. We had a meeting.
Yeah.
It just felt right.
Yeah.
Things need to end so that something new can begin.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's exactly what happened. Like, you and other members formed your improv troupe, and then you and I formed our group, and then me and known Micro Satan affiliate Rahul Rao, something he has written on his blurbs before. He and I,
It's the first line on his LinkedIn. It's crazy.
I got so damn mad when I saw that. But now he and I run a show, and we get together with Nick to do the Halloween stuff. We see John Wayne at Benchy.
It's like at a certain point, sometimes the collective is handcuffing you. Like it's like keeping you from exploring. Like you're tied to this form or this structure, and it's like, oh, it's holding us back more than it's setting us free. So it's like don't
It's a very good way of
throw
putting
a,
it.
Yeah.
throw a
Yeah.
fight over it.
'Cause
But
I-
being
I-
like, hey, let's all go do our separate things, and like if something happen, like it feels like all those people are still in the circle and like mixing throughout those shows.
Yeah, we're all still like friends. Like I see all these people pretty frequently,
Yeah.
not as much as I'd like to sometimes. Like I do miss. There was a time where we were meeting every single Sunday
Yeah.
of every week.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see everybody then. But I'm glad everyone's still like working on stuff.
So you mentioned your improv troupe, Feudal Society.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And that feels also like a group. Like most improv troupes are pretty set on like these are the 4 people,
Well, you got the pretty part right.
and we're ending the podcast.
Yes, and yes, and no.
So it seems like the most improv troupes, it's like, all right, this is the troupe. It's these set 4 people.
yeah.
Unless it's like a house troupe where people can like shift in and out. But it feels like Feudal Society kind of has lots of featured guests come in and out.
We're pretty open on just like if we like playing with you, you can come anytime you want. Like
Yeah.
I think 2 weeks ago we had asked Billy to play with us that week. He was ready to play with us, and then like that day Cody's rehearsal at school got canceled.
Mhm.
And he was like, "Can I come play?" And we're like, "Yeah, come
Yeah.
on." So we just had that many people. It is kind of a set group right now. So it's me, Antoine, Chris Skelton, Brenda Valdivia, and Chuck Vaughn.
Right.
All kind of like as the core group.
Yeah.
But we're not there every week, and different people show up, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I like it like that. I like how loose it is.
Yeah, I feel that adds like a freshness to it.
Yeah, and it's all the kind of, I guess, like the reason it formed. Chris got us all together. This I can't call it my troupe. It's kind of Chris's
Yeah.
group. But it's all improvisers who had we did improv at Station, we did improv at Beta, and then we just like weren't doing improv at those places anymore. Some for some reason, some for just like it's not really my scene anymore, or like
Yeah.
we had all just been kind of out of commission, and so he hit us all up, and we're like, yeah, I do like doing improv. Like, why not? And
Yeah.
now I love doing it. It feels like I'm going to the gym every week. Like,
Yeah.
just like working on my chops.
And it feels like it's like you're saying, like some people are there every week, some people aren't.
Mhm.
It feels like it affords you that freedom to kind of take a week off, or if there's something going on that week, you're like, oh, I can slide out, and somebody else
Yeah,
can slide
you
in.
can rely that like the show's still going to be the show. Like Futile Society will still be Futile Society.
Yeah.
It's still going to be pretty freaking funny. I just won't get to be part of it this week. But, yeah.
Cool. So, I guess going through all that, there's a lot of different hats and a lot of things that you guys do. Like,
Mhm.
I feel like I get like 3 invites to things from you guys like a week. How do you like manage all your time and manage all those groups?
Stress. No, I don't know.
Ned and I are in a fight club, and we beat the hell out of each other every week.
It's the only way to
It's
get
the
through
only way
it.
we can
wakes
get
you
through
up.
it. Yeah.
We're in a secret fight club and then a secret dentist club. So we're just like constantly making fake teeth for each other.
The dentist club is accepting members. The fight
Yeah.
club is not.
And we really shouldn't talk about it. The dentist club, I mean.
I mean, we just kind of respect each other's time, and like,
Mhm.
if Ned needs stuff that he has to do, he does it. If I have stuff that I got to do, I do it. I think, I don't know.
Yeah, when it comes
helps
down
that
to
we
like
work and
managing all
live
this
together.
stuff, like managing any project like that, just try to keep it organized. Like set goals for yourself, write down
Yeah.
goals, write down lists. Like I always keep a pocketbook on me that constantly has stuff down. I wrote Pee-wee's Playhouse. It was the only thing I wrote in the book. I was like, I can't forget this later. But, like, I don't know, taking notes. That's
Taking
how
notes.
I get
Taking
stuff
notes.
done.
Scheduling stuff.
Yeah.
And it feels like there's a pretty rigid schedule to, like, have the floor and
Mhm.
Futile Society, and like what days of the week those days, like
Consistency, like we would not be doing this
Consistency
episode or like Effin Rager for like 82 episodes if we didn't have to be here every Monday at 7:30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like with recording Honey I Shrunk the Binge, like if I had to do that every week and it was set, I would love that.
Yeah.
I just don't, and it's tough to make that happen.
Tell me about it. I
Yeah.
got 6 episodes of Is That a Foul? 1 in the can.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just sitting on it.
It's tough. So you have to make time. You
Yeah.
have to schedule things. Like it's the best way to do it. But I think like the greatest creative advice that everyone can roll their eyes at is just do it.
Yeah.
Like it never comes down to it. Like people always ask me like, how do you do so many things? Like I just do them. Like,
That's what. Yeah.
you just have to, even if it doesn't work out, like you have to just do it. I think that's the thing of like finding your right audience or finding the people, your collective, is like you just keep doing it over and over again, and the more you do it, you're going to run into someone else who just keeps doing it, and then you bump heads, and you're like, now we can both just do it, and we'll go twice as fast because there's two of us.
Yeah, and having somebody else there that you're kind of accountable, like
accountability
like,
buddies.
if you don't show up one week, it's like you let down your. It's not like
that's probably my big
I don't
room.
care about my fans.
Screw them. That's why we need to bring in a third one, because it's way too easy for us to just be like, you want to just play Battlefront?
Connor and I are really good at enabling each other.
So we need someone to just like yell at us and make us feel like we're not doing a job.
Yeah, it's some sort of demon too. Like we're not looking for a third host, but like a Shinigami that could just like follow us around with a crude little knife.
you have to write the rundown for tomorrow.
It helped. What kind of helped is that we collaborate with so many different people that every day we're getting a text from someone asking us or reminding us that they need something from us.
Yeah, whether we want to or not, we're constantly reminded.
That's what I recently like did like added another side project that made like it's like, oh, now every day I have to be, there's something except for like the weekend is like my time to relax, but it's like 5 days a week there's some piece of art or content that I'm supposed to be drawing. So there's no like time for me to be like,
What do you have, like, how do you do it all? Because you're a pretty busy guy as well. Like I always find out more about you where I'm like, oh, like you with your theme song today, was that you playing that?
Yeah,
exactly. When you got that back, I was like, oh yeah, Josh does music and he's like good at it. Like,
I'm all right.
I think you're fantastic.
Yeah, I like that theme song.
Thank you. I'm good at writing like a phrase to like something that can loop. But when it comes time to like write like I can write one part of a song. But when it comes time to write like
getting to the bridge,
a full song, it's like I don't know how to like break it up.
Hey, there's only so many keys. Yeah. Once you've written 1,000 of those, you just go back through the backlog, start pasting them together.
Yeah, and then you got yourself a lo-fi beats to chill to, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
Exactly.
And you're a graphic designer, all you have to do is make cool album art, because literally that's all it takes.
That's all
for
it takes.
lo-fi music.
Yeah, lo-fi music.
That
like
loops. That
really
loops.
cool, a really cool loop of somebody steadying or hanging out.
Yeah, like soup just steaming.
Something,
or like
a coffee,
maybe
or
a hot dog
tea.
resting on a counter and just gently moving in the wind.
Maybe I should do a lo-fi beats, and the animation is just like a 7-Eleven rolling.
Oh yes,
I would.
And it's like all like 16-bit or whatever.
Yeah, there's like
You were a fool to say that on live radio.
there's like a taquito spinning.
Dude, if it changes items, like they put a different thing on there when the song changes, are you joking me?
Yes, that's great.
Copyright.
All right.
Copyright, They Make Thangs. Is it
hang
things
on.
or things?
Whose equipment are you using?
All right.
Suddenly, it's become ours.
No,
All right, shut down the live stream. We have to keep this one in the can until I get that animation.
I could hit the dump button.
The dump button.
This doesn't exist.
Can you stack damage? Can you hit it like 9 times so it erases like 30 seconds?
So yeah, my method is just like there's always something I have to do, and then I just like don't. It's sad, but like I just don't leave my house. I don't see my friends unless I'm like it's like in service of something, which is really. I think in this last like 6 months, I really had to hunker down to work on like the book and things like that, and it's kind of like my friends have been like, hey, we haven't seen you in like
you all right?
6 months. Like, are you good? And so I think next year I have to like readjust my schedule to be like, all right, I too
am looking down that avenue. I'm realizing the only times I go out is because I'm performing.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's the thing of like, if you're making creative work, if you like soon you run out of life experience. If you don't live your life, if your life is just creating content or performing, soon you have run out of.
You start eating your own tail, which is a cool design.
It's a cool design. Not as cool as a never-ending taquito roller.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a balance. I think Ned is a real workhorse. You're constantly doing stuff, and I admire that a lot. I feel like I am too often playing video games and taking baths. Which, don't get me wrong, my downtime, I love it. But I am utilizing
I like
too much
the
of it.
downtime. You've taught me to relax. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed a big difference is that sometimes I will you'll grab a sketchbook and you'll just be drawing all these different things and coming up with these cool designs, and I realize I've just been staring at the ceiling for 20 minutes. Like, my phone's in the other room, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just thinking about like the news or something.
That's like
That's not bad though.
Yeah, all right.
I think that's another thing is like you learn to work, like as you get better, you can work faster, so that you can be lazier.
Yeah, you figure out how to work smarter. We were on a shoot the other
Working
day.
smarter is the money. Yeah.
We were on a shoot the other day for some friends, and we noticed, and we've done this before in other people's sketches, just like seeing shortcuts that you have learned to take, and seeing people experience for the first time, like, oh, now I know what I need to do to make this go more efficiently.
Yeah.
And I think that we've, through experience, have learned how to be much better at what we do
Yeah,
here.
if you want to talk about like working through constraints, I think like I've learned to troubleshoot every audio video setup possible to the point of like last year's live stream, and now I'm thinking about this. I might have to do it again. There was 3 adapters connected at one point, just plugged into the computer, and it's like we're live for an hour. Hopefully, all 3 adapters work.
Yeah.
Oh, and on that, like, I'm looking forward. We shot commercials for the live stream last year, and I did them all on my phone, and just like had some challenges, shouting out Jack Killen, not the master of one take Jakes.
Didn't want to shoot that one on VHS.
So with we had this we tried to create the infomercial spin, and I just like taped one of our zines to a record player and just shot it in slow-mo, and we just come up with these really dumb problems. We had a philosophy about this stuff. Like, let the solution be dumber than the problem, or something like that.
Yeah, I'm always under the thing of like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or say if it is broke, fix it. If it's working, see a way you can break it. Like see how you can change this. And like when we first started doing the Effin Rager like live show, we had like the audience cam, we had all this like dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And every episode we're like, what dumb tech like wrench can we throw into this? Like that's how the 3D video happened. It was like, hey Connor, I had this art project that I couldn't do.
Oh yeah.
I say I couldn't do. I just like didn't draw it ever. So I was like, I have like 50 3D glasses. Should we do something with this? And then we figured out a way to shoot a 3D video that's like terrible, but it's fun. Like
now I remember the philosophy. Our philosophy is if we discover we have the technical capability of something, how do we make it a bit?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's the other.
Like
thing.
once we figured out that we could use the webcam on our streaming service, we decided, oh, let's create a face that Ned like puts his mouth on and talks over. And so we always come up with dumb stuff like that.
The first time we found out we could plug a webcam in, it was like maybe a month before we had a show. Where we're like, hey, what is that guy in the back? Like, it was a live show. We're like, what is that guy in the back wearing? Oh, he's got such a stupid hat. And everyone turns around. It's like Antoine in a cowboy hat that we had cut a hole in and put the camera in. And like, which seems like a flawless feat of hilarious technology is like 9 USB cords daisy chained and like hidden under carpets like 4 hours before the show. Like, you're like, Antoine, you cannot move for the next 4 hours. Please. Like, if you move, the connection's gonna get effed up. We had 3 pieces of tape in the house because we just don't buy tape.
Yeah.
So you like, if you ruin this tape, we're finished.
Like, it's not gaffer tape. It's
it
was something that was like taping a chip bag.
It's like mailing tape that I've ripped off of an envelope from like 9 years ago.
It was just stamps that we hoped would stay connected.
It says forever stamped. It should hold.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the fun things about it.
Yeah.
We find a new software. We find a new dumb thing. Like, y'all, we take voicemails. We could put silly stuff on that. We had
that new technology voicemail.
Yeah. We had
well, even adding like the soundboard was just like, we have this, and like a few weeks later, we're like, oh, we can loop music on it, so let's do that. And like,
we've even been able to find out like some guests don't like having their faces shown on our shows.
Oh, yeah.
So we just put a Guy Fawkes mask over them.
I don't have the Guy Fawkes mask anymore, but I can put your logo over you. If you want. I should have asked you that if you don't mind being on camera or not, but whoops.
Oops.
Oh
no,
yeah,
that's
we're also gonna figure out how to come up with questionnaires and disclaimers for our show.
Uh-huh.
Oh yes, yeah. So we're switching to Twitch soon, and I know nothing about Twitch. I'm going to cover your face real quick.
Yeah.
I know so little about Twitch, so I've been watching Twitch streams.
Yeah.
Lately, and I'm just like, oh, you can right before this, we found out we could do our own animations. I was like, oh, we could do our own
There's
transition
so much-
animations.
yeah. Cool stuff you can do.
Or finding out you could do polls live. I didn't know you could do that before. So finding a way to break that, like. Maybe we don't want the polls to be the answers you want. Maybe you want those bars to go across the screen, and whoever can touch the goal first. And it's up to you guys who votes for what. Like, just finding ways to like change it, and now we have to figure out how to make that work.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about Twitch is that like you can, based on how much money you get or how many donations you get, you could fill up like a meter.
Yeah.
And so, hey, if we make this much money, Ned's gonna shave his head live on a stream.
Yeah.
And that's the go-to example, of course. But I'm so excited to see what Twitch is going to be like.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get doxxed. I don't know.
I've never
Anything
been
can
doxxed, so we could find a way to make that into a bit.
See, the whole thing is that since we do it in our house, everyone's going to know the blueprint and the architectural setup of the house. And if you want to shoot something in the
You'll
front,
know that it only takes throwing one brick to take it down.
if we shoot something in the front yard, something we talked about doing, we got to cover up our address.
Yeah.
All right, no one can see our address. If you search our address on Google, it just shows a giant blur because the
That's
people
true.
who lived there
That's
before us
true.
were like conspiracy theorists.
That's true. We are not on Google Maps.
Yeah, I think one of like the big things is like having those people that work as hard or harder than you, like following you guys on social media. It's like oh, Ned's doing a thing. It's like I gotta get off my ass and do a thing.
I do think that's good sometimes, but I also think like social media, like I love Instagram because I just feel it full of artists, and I'm constantly looking at it, and it gives me a sense of anxiety where I'm just like, there's too much cool stuff. Why am I not making that much cool stuff? So I think that can be kind of damaging, but I do really enjoy that. Like I think that's what's so great about our scene is that there are so many people in the scene right now working really hard, and every time I see it, like Saturday I went to the Red Dwarfs first show.
Oh yeah.
And the whole time I was there, it's like I haven't like these are new bands I've never seen before,
Yeah.
and they're great.
They're
and like I'm seeing just seeing young punks is always inspiring to me. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I think Space Cadets.
Yeah, Space Cadets.
I'll
Oh,
shout
oh,
them out.
man.
God,
I
That's
think
so
work-
good.
I
I
think
mean,
it's insane.
my first experience with them was watching them do Neo Benchy. Then I realized, oh, you guys are in a band. Oh, you have a podcast. Oh, now you have a variety show. Oh, you shot a sketch. Oh,
You're doing drag queen story time.
They
Drag
like
queen story
came
time.
out of like they were nothing, and then they were everywhere. Like,
They were nothing.
They were
Well,
nothing.
Hang on. To be fair, originally they were DJs on the radio station I founded. So this was brought up to me yesterday by
boy.
Devin, and I feel very justified in having my messianic complex.
Yeah, that's what.
I am the scene creator.
Anyway, Stax invented podcasting. Every guest on it went and started a podcast afterwards.
Stax invented Conan. All right, let's just get it.
That's what Devin joined Doomsday, and I was like, how do
That's
you?
right.
Yeah,
But also, they're young and they still have energy. They
That's
don't need-
another
That's
thing.
true.
We're getting older, and I get tired.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go out.
Stuff hurts. Like moving tech hurts so
Yes.
bad the next day now.
But yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, Space Cadets are like so good, and like all the
Yeah.
like it's just like such. It seems like they have such a clear vision of what they're trying to make.
Yeah.
They have a very unique aesthetic.
Yeah.
All we have are matching deal closer hats.
Yeah, anytime we see something dumb, we're just like, huh. And that's how we know it's like, that's the Effin Rager aesthetic.
That's true. If there are at least 2 matching silly items, we will get them.
We have a rule. Yeah.
Yeah, we have bingo nut hats that we can't wait to debut.
Yeah, we're nuts about bingo
like
nuts.
matching Minions chopsticks.
Oh yeah, yes. Thank you
Josh
very much.
gave us a very, very kind gift from overseas today. Can you pull them? I want to throw those on the camera.
On the cam.
These are
All the way
great, by
from
the way.
Minion Land and
And then if you're in our Minions spotting group on Facebook, go ahead and screen cap this and send it.
We know you're watching.
yeah,
you
we're on
spent-
I wish I could tell you all
Be in
about
on this.
about Minion Land and how amazing it is. But
did you sign an NDA?
I think we're running low on time.
No, we'll push the clock.
Yeah.
Is it full
If
of
it's
Minions?
about Minions.
Is it full of Minions 2 spoilers?
It's they have banana flavored popcorn.
Oh.
Let me ask you this: since you did go to Minion Land, I have heard that they are making a Minions 2. Did you?
There is
see
a
it?
Minions 2 already, isn't there?
It's not out yet.
What?
Are they making a Minions 2?
I'm not sure. I'm not up to date on my Minions.
He doesn't speak Japanese. He just saw the Minions.
I just
and
saw the
started
Minions.
walking.
The Minions don't speak Japanese, you racist.
He was in Japan.
I was in Japan. I couldn't.
They're not going to write banana on every plaque.
And potato. They know more than one word.
They did not have potato popcorn.
Have you tried those Minion Tic Tacs?
Could you imagine
That's
going to
gross.
Universal Studios and you're like, I don't know what the menu is. It actually just bananas? Is that all you serve here? Like, I need to know if my kid can ride this ride. It just says banana, banana, banana. Like, okay, potato. Strapping a baby into a roller coaster.
I had a burger, and the bun was yellow, and it had like an eye, like a Minion eye on the top.
Oh no!
So it looked like a front eye view of a Minion. It was.
And you put that in your. You ate it?
It was delicious. It was so good. And then I had
Tragic.
a puff pastry that looked like a Minion.
Every time I swiped on your Instagram story, I was like, what? Like,
I was very jealous.
they have Minions in every form or fashion. They do.
Yeah, it's just like Minion. It's like Minion Mania.
I woke up to a message on Instagram from Ned that said, "Yo, Josh is having a time in Japan." It was just like all your Minion content.
yeah. That's what it's like. We went to. It's like they're going to Universal Studios, and everybody's like, "Well, we want to go to Harry Potter World." It's like, that's cool. I'm here for. I'm here for Minion.
I'm here for one
because they don't have.
I'm
that
here for a little yellow friend. Like, oh, you're going to Simpsons World? I was like, nice try.
Nice try. A little place called Minion World. All right. Well, I think we're getting to the end.
Okay.
So I guess it's plug time. I do not have a plug theme song.
I don't know why I thought that you
Wise
did.
move.
Look, I'll go first. On Instagram and Twitter, I'm at CryptoCurrency. In February, we're hoping to do another You Now Have the Floor. We'll see how it goes. And then also in February, I'm going to go see Sonic the Hedgehog with all my friends.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody come out. It's going to be a hit.
What theater? You going to Eddie Green's?
Theater.
I think I'm going to go to Eddie Green's.
Should we do iPick? It's your
EG's?
birthday.
I was thinking I'd pick, or if we rented out the entire theater at AMC 8, because it holds like 30 people, and if everybody got in on it, we could rent that thing.
You
out.
think we could rent that?
Yes.
Whew, man.
We know a lot of idiots who want to go see that movie. That's what I'll be doing. It's going to be a hoot, and on the 28th. We're going to be doing the live stream on Twitch.
Yeah, check out Effin Rager. It's at this time next week
Go
at
give
8 p.m.
give them a subscribe there on Twitch.
Yeah.
And
8 p.m. this time?
Ring that bell.
No, I don't
Next
know if we're
week?
doing. No, I'm saying Effin Rager, the radio show we do. We do a radio show together
yeah.
on KPFT every Monday.
I got confused.
It's at 8 p.m.
All right,
And so
buddy.
next week at the same time.
Yeah, you can tune in to hear more smart-assery like this.
Ned, what are you doing?
What's up? I'm at Net of the Dead on Instagram. You could follow that to see some funny drawings because I like drawing ghouls. And then this Thursday, as with every Thursday at 8 p.m. at the secret group, is Futile Society Improv. But this Thursday is an important one because we've been a group for an entire year now. And we've asked everyone.
Which is 8 in improv years.
Yes. Every joke is aged horribly. I just have a TXT file of the worst sketches. No, it's really exciting. We have some of they teach classes. Chris teaches classes for Futile Society. So we have a lot of the students coming and playing.
Oh, nice.
You said earlier we have a ton of guests. I think we are putting all the guests we've ever had just on a troupe together and having them play. It's going to be real fun. We got a lot of really like dumb, exciting stuff planned, and it's
cool.
It's a fun room. I love doing it at Secret Group. So I got that going on. Swimwear department's got some new music coming out at the beginning of next year. I feel like we have a show coming. Oh, we'll be playing at Darwin's early January. Just follow Swimwear department for that.
Nice, yeah. Definitely check out Swimwear department.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I am at I Make Thangs on Instagram. Thangs with an A.
I have one thing that I forgot to plug.
Nope. It's too late.
Okay.
I hope it's your
No,
mouth.
go for it. Go for it.
I don't know when the next time I'm going to get a chance to plug this is, but on January 9th, I will be at Station Houston, downtown. I'm speaking on what it is to be I forget the name of the panel, but it's about being a side hustler and having a side hustle.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So it's going to be like a continuation of this. I'm going to wear. Do what?
Just without me.
No, I mean it's
You
just
wanna
me.
come?
I'm right. Please go to the audience, clap,
Yeah.
laugh at my joke. I'm gonna wear my microstatin shirt, my Effin Rager hat, and my I Make Thang pants.
Your Minions chopsticks.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna.
Yeah, please let me reference my notes. Like picking up the paper with like note cards with your chopsticks.
Yeah, that's gonna be
Son
at 7 p.m. at Station Houston on
Sick.
January the 9th,
January 9th.
Thursday.
Definitely check that out. So yeah, I'm at I Make Thangs on Instagram with Thangs with an A. Also at imakethangs.com is my store. And pick up my book that just came out today, Intro Flirted, which is a collection of love notes for introverts.
I have the old zine version, or what do you call edition 1?
I would still call
I have
that
the Kickstarter.
That's
book.
that's like a self-published book.
Light.
This one is like a real official published through a publisher book, not
That's so
published
freaking
through me
cool.
buying an ISBN
Congratulations!
Yeah,
number.
really.
It's
You had
like,
to buy an ISBN number.
yeah, you can like buy them and just like publish stuff. I could have like 9 more if you guys want ISBN numbers for any publications.
Our zine is like 8 pages. We could probably use
There you go.
one.
Yeah. I'll
8 pages of activity.
throw it on there.
Microstatin does have a zine with an ISBN number on it.
Do we? Oh,
Dragon Trainer High School.
Dragon Trainer High School has
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Another big collaborative thing.
There you go.
We'll talk
Yeah,
about it
that's
some other
that.
time.
Do you want to show your bag on the camera or anything? I think you have such fun products that.
I can guarantee
I
you
have a shirt
nobody is coming in after us.
Yeah. There's no. Oh yeah,
shirt that says
Spooky Boy Fall.
The fall is over, so get the Thick Boy winter shirts instead. And then I need to just keep coming up with stuff for different seasons. I guess we'll see what I come up with.
Spring.
Into
Into Jesus.
So yeah, the Intro Flirt book came out today. It's a lot. The upgrades are. It's like twice as like the paper is like twice as thick. Like when I got them in,
Hell
I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, this is nice."
Thick boy winner.
And then I held it up to the other one. I was like, "Oh, this is like much thicker."
Hell
And,
yeah.
the binding's a little bit nicer, and the price is a lot lower because they can produce a lot more than
Yeah.
I can, and they get those minimums. So yeah. I think that's gonna wrap it up for the podcast. Thank you for tuning in to They Make Thangs, the inaugural episode with Connor and Ned. Thank
Hey,
you.
thank
so
you
Thanks
much
for having
me,
us.
Ned,
I
for
love talking
coming
about
out.
myself.
Yeah, this has been it's so nice to be asked to be on the pilot episode of your show. Thank you
Yeah,
so much from
for
the bottom
real.
of our hearts for
Oh,
thinking of
thank
us.
Wouldn't have happened without y'all.
Yeah, but thanks so much for talking about creativity with us.
Yeah,
like,
no,
for real.
one of our favorite things to talk about.